Hello class and welcome back. In this video we are going to be covering our first lesson in our series on coloring pencils. So of course you are going to need coloring pencils for this. If you do not have coloring pencils, I will allow you to do this online with our online digital painting application. However, please follow along with coloring pencils if you have coloring pencils. So what are we doing with our coloring pencils? Well, we're not just going to be coloring our coloring sheet like right here like you would normally. Instead, what we're going to do, we are going to be using these coloring pencils and blending. So how do you blend? Blending with coloring pencils is actually very easy. It is the same way that we use regular pencils to do blending. So if you remember back to our value scales and form drawings, whenever you blend with a pencil, there's a specific way that you hold your pencil, like this or like that, where the side of the pencil lead is resting against the paper, and depending on how hard you push down on it, that is how dark the value is. And you go in circles and you push down harder to get darker values, or you lift up and get lighter values by doing that. That is a proper way of shading and blending. You do essentially the same thing with coloring pencils. So let me show you an example right here with red. So I have red and I'm going to go right down here and I'm going to push down really hard on the pencil, going around in circles and blending it in. And then I'm going to start lifting it up and very lightly applying less pressure, going around in circles still until I create a nice transition from dark to light. And you can go back over it again, like get some deeper, richer colors in there like that. And that's how you create a value, or you shade with coloring pencils. Now let me show you how to blend, because blending is something that is really neat, and it creates a really nice feel to your watercolor, to your coloring pencils. So whenever you blend with coloring pencils, you want to have a lighter color, for instance, like white, and then you want to have two colors that are kind of close together. So for instance, we have red, and let's get a purple. So let's see, violet, purple. Yep. So let's get these two. Now the reason why these two work well together is because they're close to one another on the color wheel. So if I were to take these colors and say that I'm going to start blending them, I'm going to start in one area like this, and I'm going to just lightly blend it out like this. And then I'm going to take my purple and I'm going to go on the opposite side and I'm going to try to blend inward to it. So just like this. And then where those two colors meet is when you're going to start seeing color blending. And then you take your other color and you go right back over it again. And there you have a nice mix between the red and the purple, which makes that color. If you want to really make it stand out, you can go over it with some white, and that really makes it blend and pop. Using the white clears up all those little bumps and ridges that's in it. Now this was a very quick example. Of course, you can go more in depth and detail with that, which we will be doing over here. So I'm going to show you what our lesson is for today. Our lesson for today, you are going to create blended colors inside of whatever artwork that you have chosen to do. So there's multiple different pictures for you to pick from. All you need to do is select one. And what I want you to do, I want you to try to experiment with colors that are close to one another on the color wheel. For instance, yellows and greens work really well together. So we have a yellow, a light green, and a darker green. These greens work really well together because they're very close to each other on the color wheel. So I want you to try to go in here and make some designs. So for instance, I'm going to start with yellow, and I'm going to make a little fiery design right here. And then I'm going to take, let's see, I want that to be like that right there. I'm going to take a lighter green and I'm going to go over that like this. And I'm just making myself some patterns so I can color in. And then I'm going to take some darker greens. So what I'm doing with this, on the inside, I'm going to start with my lighter color. I am making a pattern in here. I don't know if you can see that on, oh yeah, you can see that fine on the camera. I'm going around in small circles and I'm filling in that area with that color. Now I'm going to just very lightly go outside of the lines that I drew with the yellow, and then I'm going to take my light green and I'm going to fill in the other color. Now I'm not going to color into the yellow yet. I'm just doing the outside border of it right here. And then when I have that, I'm going to very lightly start blending that into the yellow. Just very, very lightly. So you're kind of making a value scale with multiple colors. I'm going to do the same thing over here. So right wherever I had my design at, I'm going to color that right in. All right, now I'm going to go back over that area with the yellow to try to smoothen those colors a little bit, blend it in. Okay, and we have the yellow going into the light green. We are going to do the same thing now with our dark green. So I'm going to start over here right at the edge where I had my line. I'm going to make it really dark. So going around in small circles using the side of the pencil, making it dark, just like we would with the value scale. And then I'm going to lightly blend it down and just lightly blend it down to the green. And then I'm going to take my lighter green, the color we were using before, and I'm going to blend that into the darker. So as you can see, it's going to blend from a light green up to a dark green. And whenever you're doing this, you can use any colors that you want. I want you to experiment with this and try to mix colors, see how they blend well together, see what colors work well, see what colors kind of don't, and then experiment with it. Go with it, try to see what you can come up with. So now once you have this done, then you can start branching it out and you can start going in the opposite direction. So from dark green to light green. And then from light green down to yellow. Now, if you need to go over this several times, you can. There is nothing wrong with going over it multiple times. And there you have it. That is how you blend using coloring pencils. It's very simple, easy to do, and it's just like you would do with the value scale. Now, your assignment for today, you are going to be printing off one of the attached drawings, or if you have a coloring book that has animals like this in it, that have big, large sections that you can use to blend, you can actually use one of those coloring book pages. That's fine too. If you do not have access to a printer or you do not have a coloring book page that you can use, I will allow you to trace this over to a normal piece of paper. Typically, I do not allow tracing in my class, but for this assignment, I will allow it. So if you don't have access to a printer and you do not have a coloring book page, then you can trace this over to a regular piece of paper and color it in that way. Okay, so this lesson should take you approximately 2 class periods. I want the entire animal, whichever one you picked, completely filled in with colors, blended colors. Now, you don't have to pick the same colors. If you want to do the same colors, you can. If you want to experiment and make this thing wild, crazy colors, go for it. If you want to try to experiment with purple and red and black and brown and white and green, go ahead. Go crazy with it. This is your artwork. This project is meant for you to practice. If you get finished with this artwork in one day and the second day you don't know what to do, start another one. I want you to practice blending because this lesson is going to lead directly into our next lesson, which is more in-depth coloring pencil. All right, well, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a like, give me a thumbs up. If you are not a student in my class and you would like to follow along with us, go ahead and subscribe to the channel because I will be uploading more videos as I make new lessons. Thank you all very much for watching. Have a great day.